When a ground fault circuit interrupter, or GFCI, won't reset, it usually indicates a problem within the circuit. Here's a breakdown of potential issues and testing methods. Firstly, consider the possibility of wrong polarity. Ensure that the hot and neutral wires are connected correctly at both the electrical panel and the outlet. Reverse polarity can prevent a GFCI from resetting. Secondly, check for a weak neutral. A weak or open neutral wire can cause GFCI issues. Verify the neutral wire's continuity and that it is properly connected. Thirdly, verify that the ground wire is properly connected at both the panel and the outlet. An open ground can prevent the GFCI from detecting ground faults. Fourthly, check for ground loops in the circuit. These can create voltage imbalances that interfere with GFCI operation. Fifthly, inspect the GFCI devices themselves. It is possible that all 3 GFCIs were damaged during installation or are simply defective. Look for any physical damage or improper wiring on the units. Sixthly, consider if any error occurred during the installation process. Double-check all connections to ensure the neutral and ground wires are not improperly connected. Seventhly, though unlikely, test the tandem breaker with a circuit tester to ensure it's operating correctly. A faulty breaker may not be providing sufficient power to the GFCI. Now let's discuss testing methods. Firstly, create a temporary branch circuit. Connect the GFCI to a short branch circuit directly at the panel. If the GFCI resets on this temporary circuit, it indicates that the issue is likely within the existing circuit wiring in the field. Secondly, simulate a ground fault. Use a GFCI tester to simulate a ground fault on the circuit. If the GFCI does not trip, it may be defective. Thirdly, perform a current loop continuity test. Verify that there is a complete circuit by performing a continuity test between the hot, neutral, and ground wires at both the outlet and the panel. Ensure that the values are within acceptable ranges. Fourthly, measure the voltage. Use a voltmeter to measure the voltage between the hot and neutral wires at the outlet. The voltage should be within the range of 110 to 120 volts. A significantly lower voltage may indicate a wiring issue. Let's go into more detail about each potential issue. Wrong polarity occurs when the hot and neutral wires are reversed. This can confuse the GFCI's internal circuitry, preventing it from resetting or functioning correctly. To check for this, use a non-contact voltage tester to verify that the correct wire is carrying voltage. Also, visually inspect the wire connections at the receptacle and in the panel to ensure the black wire is connected to the hot terminal and the white wire is connected to the neutral terminal. A weak neutral refers to a neutral wire that has high resistance or is not properly connected. This can disrupt the flow of current, leading to voltage imbalances and GFCI malfunction. To test for a weak neutral, use a multimeter to measure the voltage drop across the neutral wire while a load is applied to the circuit. An excessive voltage drop indicates a problem with the neutral connection. Also, ensure that the neutral wire is securely connected to the neutral bus bar in the panel. An open ground means that the ground wire is not properly connected to the grounding system. This can prevent the GFCI from detecting ground faults, as it relies on the ground wire to provide a path for fault current. To check for an open ground, use a multimeter to measure the resistance between the ground wire and the grounding electrode. A high resistance reading indicates a problem with the ground connection. Ensure that the ground wire is securely connected to the ground bus bar in the panel and that the grounding electrode is properly installed. Ground loops occur when there are multiple paths to ground, creating circulating currents that can interfere with the GFCI's operation. These loops can introduce noise and voltage fluctuations that cause the GFCI to trip or fail to reset. Identifying and eliminating ground loops can be complex, but common sources include improperly grounded equipment or appliances. To check for ground loops, use an ammeter to measure the current flowing through the ground wire. Excessive current indicates a ground loop. You may need to isolate and eliminate the additional ground paths to resolve the issue. Damaged GFCI devices can occur due to physical impact, electrical surges, or improper installation. Internal components may be broken or misaligned, causing the GFCI to malfunction. Visually inspect the GFCI for any signs of damage, such as cracks, burns, or loose wires. If damage is suspected, replace the GFCI with a new one. Incorrect wiring can prevent the GFCI from functioning correctly. This can include misidentified wires, loose connections, or improper terminations. Carefully check all wire connections to ensure they are tight, secure, and properly connected to the correct terminals. Refer to the GFCI's wiring diagram for guidance. If you are unsure about any connections, consult with a qualified electrician. A faulty tandem breaker can cause intermittent power or voltage fluctuations that affect the GFCI's operation. The breaker may not be providing the correct voltage or current to the circuit. Use a circuit tester to verify that the breaker is functioning correctly and providing the proper voltage. If the breaker is faulty, replace it with a new one. Now let's examine the testing procedures in greater detail. A temporary branch circuit test involves connecting the GFCI to a known good power source to isolate the problem. This eliminates the existing circuit wiring as a potential cause of the issue. If the GFCI resets and functions correctly on the temporary circuit, the problem lies within the original circuit wiring. To perform this test, use a short length of 12/2 or 14/2 Romex wire to connect the GFCI to a breaker in the panel. Ensure that the connections are secure and properly terminated. A ground fault simulation test uses a GFCI tester to introduce a small amount of current leakage to ground. This simulates a ground fault condition and should cause the GFCI to trip. If the GFCI does not trip, it indicates that the GFCI is not functioning correctly and needs to be replaced. To perform this test, plug the GFCI tester into the outlet and press the test button. The GFCI should trip immediately. A current loop continuity test verifies that there is a complete and uninterrupted path for current to flow through the circuit. This test checks for any breaks, shorts, or high resistance connections in the wiring. To perform this test, disconnect the power to the circuit and use a multimeter to measure the continuity between the hot, neutral, and ground wires at both the outlet and the panel. A low resistance reading indicates good continuity, while a high resistance reading indicates a problem with the wiring. Voltage measurement involves using a voltmeter to check the voltage levels of various points in the circuit. This can help identify voltage drops, imbalances, or other issues that may be affecting the GFCI's operation. To perform this test, set the voltmeter to the appropriate voltage range and measure the voltage between the hot and neutral wires at the outlet. The voltage should be within the range of 110 to 120 volts. If the voltage is significantly lower, there may be a wiring issue or a problem with the power supply. In addition to the above troubleshooting steps, it's also important to consider the following factors. Ensure that the GFCI is properly rated for the circuit. The GFCI should be rated for the voltage and current of the circuit. Using an improperly rated GFCI can cause it to malfunction or fail. Check for any signs of water damage or corrosion. Water damage can cause corrosion on the wiring and components, leading to electrical problems. Inspect the wiring and components for any signs of water damage or corrosion. If water damage is present, address the source of the leak and replace any damaged wiring or components. Verify that the GFCI is installed in a suitable location. GFCI should be installed in locations where they are protected from moisture and physical damage. Avoid installing GFCIs in areas where they are exposed to direct sunlight or extreme temperatures. Use a properly calibrated multimeter and GFCI tester. Ensure that the testing equipment is accurate and reliable. Use high-quality wiring and connectors. Cheap or damaged wiring and connectors can cause electrical problems. Use only high-quality wiring and connectors that are approved for electrical use. Follow all applicable electrical codes and regulations. Ensure that all wiring and installations comply with the National Electrical Code and any local codes or regulations. If you are not comfortable performing any of these troubleshooting steps, consult with a qualified electrician. Working with electricity can be dangerous, and it's important to take precautions to protect yourself from injury. Remember to turn off the power to the circuit before working on any electrical components. Use insulated tools and wear appropriate safety gear, such as gloves and eye protection. By following these troubleshooting steps, you should be able to identify and resolve the issue causing the GFCI not to reset. If you are still unable to resolve the issue, consult with a qualified electrician for further assistance. It is also worth noting that some GFCI outlets have a limited lifespan and may need to be replaced after a certain number of years. Check the manufacturer's instructions for the recommended replacement interval. If the GFCI is old or has been tripped frequently, it may be time to replace it, even if it appears to be functioning correctly. When replacing a GFCI, be sure to choose a replacement that is compatible with the existing wiring and electrical system. Use a GFCI that is rated for the same voltage and current as the original GFCI and ensure that it is approved for use in the intended location. Finally, always test the new GFCI after installation to ensure that it is functioning correctly. Use a GFCI tester to simulate the ground fault and verify that the GFCI trips as expected. This will help ensure that the new GFCI is providing the intended protection against electrical shock. Remember, safety is always the priority when working with electrical systems. If you are not comfortable performing any of these troubleshooting steps, or if you are unsure about any aspect of the electrical system, consult with a qualified electrician. A licensed electrician has the knowledge, skills, and experience to safely and effectively diagnose and repair electrical problems. Do not attempt to perform any electrical work that you are not qualified to do.